Hello, and welcome back to How to Learn a Language. Today, as part of our week-long mini-series before my upcoming event, Grace and Space, we're talking about who Grace and Space is for, because there is a specific type of language learner that I have in mind when I'm planning this event. And this year's event is the biggest Grace and Space ever. We've got multiple live sessions a day. There's taught trainings, there's Q&A, there's co-study, there's hot seat coaching, so much good stuff. You can find out more and get your ticket now at lindsaydoeslanguages.com/grace and space. And in this episode, we will be talking about grace and space being for people who compare themselves to others too much. So, if that feels like you, if you are in that comparison trap and you struggle with this, here's what I want you to know. Comparison is pretty much inevitable in any kind of group learning setting, but it's often unhelpful. You know the last bit, right? But it's inevitable. It will happen. And it's not so much like I think it was in the last episode about how, maybe the one before that, about how I'm not going to say you need to stop feeling a certain way or we need to avoid a certain feeling. And it's the same with this, with comparison. Like, it's not so much a case of you need to just stop comparing yourself. No. If that's the way that you feel you are a little bit more inclined, it's going to happen. It's not about avoiding that. It's about knowing what to do when it happens. So when something is inevitable like this, we want to just have ways up our sleeve that we know deal with it for us and work for us, right? So the core thing with this is shifting your focus from others' pace to your own progress. So instead of thinking, oh, wow, you're in a group class, let's say, and there's someone who always answers and sounds really good and you never hear any mistakes in what they say, instead of thinking, oh, they never make mistakes, what about if you then think, wow, good for them. What can I do today that I couldn't do last month? And you just, when you sort of hear it creeping in, like, oh, they never make any, and then you stop yourself and you're like, okay, what can I do today that I couldn't do last month? What have I done today? Like I don't know how internationally this song is known, but there's a song by Heather Small, who was in the band M People. And the line in like the chorus is, what have you done today to make yourself proud? What have you done today to make yourself feel proud? Like, it's a good way to think about this, right? So when you feel that, like, oh, they never make me, nope, not they never make mistakes. Heather Small, what have you done today to make yourself feel proud, right? Now, I remember in school how, in language class in particular, like the grades would often be read aloud. Oh, can you imagine? And so you're constantly under that pressure of like, oh, have I done well enough? Have I done better than my friend? Have I done better than that person over there who always does really well in French or whatever? Like, it's inevitable to feel that feeling of comparison. So the way that we need to know how to handle this is to know what to do instead. When we sort of hear it coming in, we sense it coming in, how do we want to reprogram our brain essentially to think instead? Second thing, direct comparison is really not that relevant because your goals are probably so different. So even if, let's say, we're back in that same language class with someone, right? Even if you're in that same class, learning the same language, your goals are different. There's going to be something that is different. Not only your goals, but the setup that you have, the process that you have, the time that you have to study, the experiences that you've all had before that have led you to this point, that have made things either easier or more difficult or more emotionally involved or less emotionally involved for you. It's all different. So there is just no comparison to other people to be made that is going to be helpful for you. Like, just the only thing that you want to be thinking about is comparing to your past self. Like we said, what have I done today to make myself feel proud? What can I do today that I couldn't do last month, right? So it's really something that can be quite beneficial with this is seeking out spaces where learners are working on different languages or where they've got different goals. This is one reason why I work with learners of any language, to just give you somewhere where you can come and you can be learning your language. And there might be some people learning the same language as you, and that is fine because not everyone is in the same boat. And any level as well, right? I think that's really key. You're not just in a room of beginners learning French, you're in a room of people learning any language at any level. There could be beginners, there could be intermediate, there could be advanced. It's all good. It's all like really helpful because then the sort of modes for comparison become less. So if you find that you really struggle with comparing yourselves to others, being in a space like Grace and Space, like Language Life, where everyone's in their own race, if you want to put it that way, that can be so helpful to help you falling into comparison in the first place. And the final thing kind of links to that, and that is that community is more valuable than avoiding comparison. So if you are avoiding, if you're saying to yourself, I'm just going to study alone to avoid comparing myself to others, I'm going to be completely isolated in this, that often leads to kind of stagnation. You're going to be a bit more demotivated quicker. If you have a supportive community, that is much more valuable than avoiding that community because you're trying to avoid comparison. Do you see what I'm saying? So something like co-study, right? At Grace and Space, we're going to have some co-study sessions. This could be really, really useful to help with that, right? To help with that sense of community, to just make things feel more connected and in a light way without this high pressure, like we're in the same class, they're in the same language at the same level, and we are comparing ourselves based on that. Like, no, bring your own materials along, bring your own goals along to those co-study sessions. We'll start off and we'll say, okay, hey, what language are you learning? What do you want to get done in the next hour? Brilliant. How about you? How about you? How about you? And then it's cameras off, it's microphones off. I'll set a timer for 25 minutes. We'll have a 5-minute break in between, 25 minutes again. We'll come back at the end to just check in and see how we all did and how we all feel about it. Just having that accountability, that shared energy, that motivation without needing to be at the same level, doing the same tasks. Really, really good way to sort of get that sense of community without it leading to comparison for you if you're prone to this. So if this feels like you, if you feel like I am in the comparison trap and I'm stuck and I don't know how to get out of it, then come along to Grace and Space because, you've got these opportunities lined up for you here. The fact that this is any language, any level, the fact that we've got co-study where you can be doing your own thing, but with others, without the pressure of even having your camera on. This year's event is taking place from the 25th to the 28th of September. It's going to be the best yet. We have a new talk workshop every day. We've got multiple live sessions, including that co-study that I think you're going to love if this is you, plus the chance to join Language Life with a very special bonus package. Tickets are just $50 and you can get them right now at lindsaydoeslanguages.com/grace and space. And if you're listening to this in the future, you can sign up to my email list for updates on future events and get yourself access to my free ultimate language resource list at lindsaydoeslanguages.com/list. All right. You can email me if you have any further questions, lindsay@doeslanguages.com, and share this episode with a friend who's working through something similar. I'll be back very soon. Thank you. Bye.